Hello guys and welcome back to the Dazzling Destinations channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top 10 strangest human experiments in history. These experiments range from the ethically dubious to the scientifically groundbreaking, and they've all left a lasting mark on human history. So let's dive in and explore these experiments in more details. Number 10. Monster Study. At number 10 on our list is the Monster Study, a controversial experiment conducted by Wendell Johnson in 1930s. The study aimed to investigate the causes of stuttering by inducing stuttering in children. Johnson selected 22 orphans and divided them into two groups. One group received positive speech therapy, while the other group received negative therapy, with their speech being criticized constantly. The negative therapy had a profound impact on the children, leading them to long-term psychological damage. The Monster Study is a disturbing example of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. The study has been widely criticized for its inhumane treatment of vulnerable children and has had a lasting impact on the field of speech therapy. The experiment has led to significant changes in research ethics guidelines and a greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. Number 9. Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment. Number 9 on our list is the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment, a study conducted by the US government in 1930s. The study aimed to investigate the natural course of untreated syphilis in African American men. Researchers recruited 600 men with syphilis, most of whom were poor and uneducated, and followed them for over 40 years, during which time they were denied treatment for their disease. The study was widely criticized for its inhuman treatment of vulnerable populations and led to significant changes in medical research ethics and regulations. The Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment is a shocking example of the potential harm that can be caused by the unethical research practices. The study has been used to illustrate the importance of informed consent and ethical consideration in medical research and the potential dangers of exploiting vulnerable populations. The experiment has had a lasting impact on the field of medical ethics, leading to significant changes in research regulations and guidelines and a greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. Number 8. The Stanford Prison Experiment. At number 8 we have the Stanford Prison Experiment, a study conducted by psychologist Philip Zimbardo in 1971. The study aimed to investigate the psychological effects of prison life on both prisoners and guards. Zimbardo selected 24 college students to act as guards and prisoners in a simulated prison environment. The experiment quickly spiraled out of control, with the guards becoming increasingly abusive and the prisoners experiencing severe psychological distress. The Stanford Prison Experiment is a classic example of the power of social roles and the potential dangers of situational factors. The study has been used to illustrate the importance of ethical consideration in research and the need for informed consent and debriefing of participants. The experiment has had a significant impact on the field of psychology, leading to a greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices and a renewed emphasis on the importance of ethical guidelines in research. Number 7. Little Albert's Experiment. At number 7 on our list is the Little Albert's Experiment, a study conducted by psychologist John B. Watson in 1920. The experiment aimed to investigate classical conditioning by conditioning a 9-month-old infant, known as Little Albert, to fear a white rat. Watson and his assistant repeatedly presented the rat to Little Albert along with a loud noise, causing the infant to develop a fear of the rat even in the absence of the noise. The Little Albert's Experiment is a controversial study that has been widely criticized for its unethical treatment of a vulnerable infant. The experiment raised serious ethical concerns about the use of human subjects in research and the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. The experiment is also a prime example of the power of classical conditioning and the potential for conditioning to influence behavior. Number 6. Russian Sleep Experiment. Number 6 on our list is the Russian Sleep Experiment, a disturbing study conducted by Russian researchers in 1940s. The experiment aimed to investigate the effects of sleep deprivation on human subjects by keeping 5 prisoners awake for 15 days straight. The experiment quickly turned into a nightmare, with the prisoners experiencing extreme psychological distress and exhibiting bizarre behavior, including self-mutilation and screaming. The Russian sleep experiment is a shocking example of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. The experiment raised serious ethical concerns about the use of human subjects in research and the potential dangers of sleep deprivation. The experiment has had a lasting impact on the field of medical ethics, leading to significant changes in research regulations and guidelines and the greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. Number 5. David Reimer Case. At number 5 we have the David Reimer case, a tragic experiment that raised serious ethical concerns about the treatment of intersex individuals. In the 1960s, David Reimer was born a male but suffered a botched circumcision that resulted in the loss of his penis. His parents were advised by psychologist John Money to raise him as a girl and undergo gender reassignment surgery. However, the experiment was a failure and Reimer eventually transitioned back to male at the age of 15. The David Reimer case is a disturbing example of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical medical interventions. The experiment raised serious ethical concerns about the treatment of intersex individuals and the importance of informed consent and the involvement of patients in medical decision making. The case has had a lasting impact on the field of medical ethics, leading to significant changes in medical regulations and guidelines and the greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical medical interventions. Number 4. Aversion Project. At number 4 on our list is the Aversion Project, a disturbing experiment conducted by the South African government in 1970s and 1980s. The experiment aimed to cure homosexuality by subjecting gay men and lesbians to electroshock therapy, chemical castration, and other forms of torture. The experiment had a profound impact on the lives of those who were subjected to it, leading to severe psychological trauma and lasting damage. The Aversion Project is a shocking example of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical medical interventions. The experiment raised serious ethical concerns about the treatment of LGBTQ+ individuals and the importance of informed consent and the involvement of the patient in medical decision making. The project has had a lasting impact on the field of medical ethics, leading to significant changes in medical regulations and guidelines and the greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical medical interventions. Number 3. Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Number 3 on our list is the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, a classic study conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel in the 1960s. The experiment aimed to investigate the ability of children to delay gratification by offering them a choice between a small reward now or a larger reward later. The study found that children who were able to delay gratification had better outcomes in later life, including higher academic achievements and better social skills. The Stanford Marshmallow Experiment is a classic example of the potential for psychological research to have real-world implications. The study has been used to illustrate the importance of self-control and the ability to delay gratification in achieving long-term goals. The experiment has had a significant impact on the field of psychology, leading to a greater understanding of the importance of self-control in achieving success in life. Number 2. A Stroop Effect. At number 2 on our list is the Stroop Effect, a classic experiment conducted by psychologist John Ridley Stroop in the 1930s. The experiment aimed to investigate the interference between automatic and controlled processes in brain by asking participants to name the color of words that is spelled out of names of other colors. The study found that participants had difficulty ignoring the meaning of the words and instead focusing on the color of the ink. The Stroop effect is a classic example of the power of automatic processes in the brain and the potential for interference between different cognitive processes. The study has been used to illustrate the importance of attention and the potential for cognitive biases to influence behavior. The experiment has had a significant impact on the field of psychology, leading to a greater understanding of the mechanisms underlying cognitive processes. Number 1. Milgram Experiment. And finally at number 1 on our list is the Milgram Experiment, a controversial study conducted by psychologist Stanley Milgram in the 1960s. The experiments aim to investigate obedience to authority by asking participants to administer electric shocks to a learner when they made a mistake on a memory test. The shocks were fake, but the participants believed that they were real, and the experiment found that the majority of participants were willing to administer potentially lethal shocks to the learner when ordered to do so by the experimenter. The Milgram experiment is a controversial study that has raised serious ethical concerns about the use of human subjects in research and the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices. The experiment has been used to illustrate the power of authority and the potential for obedience to lead to harmful behavior. The study has had a significant impact on the field of psychology, leading to a greater awareness of the potential harm that can be caused by unethical research practices and a renewed emphasis on the importance of ethical guidelines in research. And that's it for our top 10 strangest human experiments in history. We hope you found this video informative and thought-provoking. Which one was the strangest? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and remember to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating topics in science. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck.